Stop! Stop!
Would you believe me if I told you that this was the quiet neighborhood? I have an obsession with the video games released between the years 2000 and 2006. Nostalgia is definitely a big factor that influences my perception of it. But I do believe that it had something that no other generation did either before or after. It was a perfect middle ground between raw performance power and project scope. Unlike what came before it, the hardware was strong enough that the team could reasonably implement their ideas with few restrictions, allowing them to give flesh to all, or at the very least most, of their ideas. Unlike what came after it, it wasn't so powerful to the point that a studio worked on a project for more than half a decade, and therefore released a game in a reasonable timeframe of 2.5/3 years. Again, a middle ground, and this obsession with this middle ground makes me actively seek and intensely talk about experiences I never witnessed firsthand from this era. An era of vintage light-hearted adventures, from which came out Scrapland. Oh, sorry, American McGee presents Scrapland. This title is pure clickbait, by the way. American McGee did not have any creative input. He only financed the project. Or, as he put it himself, it was just a marketing tool. According to GamesPaint.es, Scrapland was the birth project of former employees of Rebel Act Studios, which made the Severance Blades of Darkness game. Additionally, it was inspired by the works of Stanislav Lem, Polish writer with an expertise in sci-fi themes, and other games from the time like Grand Theft Auto 3. The game itself was a commercial bomb, but it did bring the studio on the international stage, allowing it to eventually produce works based on renowned IPs such as Castlevania Lords of Shadow and the recent-ish Metroid Samus Returns. Nowadays, the studio is doing fine. They got their own little game as a service Space Lords that is helping them stay afloat, and they've recently released their new work Blades of Fire, to a sadly lukewarm reception. Mildly informative fact before the game proper, the cutscenes for this game are saved in a .vds file type. What kind of file is that? I would like to know too. I can open them on VLC, edit them on Kdenlive, and upload them on YouTube no problem. But they are not registered in OBS. I think it's because the game is secretly alt-tabbing to show me the pre-rendered cutscenes. The great lost technologies of 2004, I guess. Unlike other games that use their starting cutscene to introduce the world and setting, Scrapland shows us the main protagonist as he flies, badly I might add, to the space station Chimera. This first area is where the player can get accustomed to the controls, do some casual talking with the NPCs, and receive some lore drops.
You call your home world Scrapland?
Yes, we do. In the past, it was a lovely planet that humans overexploited, turned into a junkyard, and abandoned us. Robots reconstructed it from the scraps they left behind. That's why we call it Scrapland.
Whoa, slow down game, you remind me of Wall-E. I don't want the Disney corporate squads coming to my door. So the robots don't like the humans. They think they're disgusting, and they want to stay away from them as far as possible.
Are those? Yep, they've resorted to filling the candy machine with antidepressants.
After getting disinfected, Detritus gets analyzed by two priests. They tell him they scanned him and put his data into the Great Database, a registry capable of replicating any robot it has recorded, granting immortality to all citizens of Chimera. It must be a privacy nightmare. Not even in the far future you're immune to invasive terms of service. Now that I take a better look at them, their designs remind me of the movie Robots from 2005, though this game came out in 2004, so it precedes a bit of a year. Detritus goes to a functionary, informing him that no one can enter without a job. Since he has no references to show, he will have to accept anything that is available. Way to make your protagonist relatable, game. The only position open is for a journalist, which Detritus accepts. In hindsight, he could have just prettied up and sold himself as a full-time lender of companionship, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I like how the functionary, since he has to take care of the paperwork, has a built-in scoliosis for maximum efficiency. With him inside is Berto, a colleague of his, and he informs him about the station, foreshadowing certain elements that are going to be relevant later.
Journalism is a risky business.
Why then give the job to those without specialized skills? Berto shows off his new ride, and delivers the first task, build a ship, as it's impossible to get anywhere in the city without one.
Detritus, this is Sputnik, an alien robot from planet C496. As you know, the inhabitants of that planet are capable of transmitting huge amounts of matter from one point to another. They nearly became extinct when they started transmitting one another all over the universe.
You sure it's safe to have it around? The meeting with the mechanic, a former mercenary, translates into the tutorial for shipbuilding. Let's talk about it quick. You start off with the base model, and then decide several details, specifically the engines, the weapons and their relative add-ons, and the thickness of the hull, which affects the health of the ship. It's a cool idea, but here its implementation is a bit shallow. It's better to just build the biggest ship you can and put the best items on it. Sure, you can put stronger, bigger motors on smaller ships, but the bigger ships are sturdier and still manage to reach 90% of the speed due to the fact that you can put more motors on them. And all NPCs have aimbot, so evading their shots is not even a question. On the plus side, recycled ships give back all the money spent on them, so ultimately trying stuff out has no cost. Additionally, the game has a safety net of sorts. Since the lost ships don't regenerate, and you have to buy up a new one every time, it can happen that you end up without credits. So, for this reason, the player has access to the mechanic's emergency vehicle. It's absolutely awful, and it barely does any damage, but it's always there if you need to get from place A to place B to make some money. Sputnik decides to follow you around. Oh yeah, I hope you enjoy silly names. He can change and repair your ships on the fly, so you don't have to get back to the mechanic every time. One last note, any stolen ship will be transformed into cash. It's not really a good way to make some money, but it helps with another method we'll see soon. Now, the Tritus should go to work, but another character, the Crazy Gambler, wants to meet with him. Going from place to place is half the gameplay loop, so if you decide to pick it up for yourself, be prepared for a lot of flying around. At least there are some pretty visuals to admire, even though this is remastered. I think the art design managed to succeed the test of time. Anyway, the Crazy Gambler has heard a lot about the Tritus. He came here not even 30 minutes ago. He's a random bum that has just arrived, but okay. He explains another mechanic, crazy bets and super crazy bets. Bets are specific optional objectives. Once the coolest set of 3 has been accomplished, a super crazy bet is unlocked, which is a one-time challenge that unlocks a new upgrade, like add-ons for the weapons.
I want you to go outside and destroy 2 stinky cops with your combat ship. Consider it a test.
People can shoot each other without real consequences? Actually, yeah, I guess it does make sense once you have locked in immortality. Smart choice to have a giant backplate with your name on it. It's a good way to make it distinguishable from the other vehicles. After doing the task, it is now time to go to the office. There, we meet the boss, which now I just realized is never named in the entire game. The boss and his secretary, Betty. This game follows the Smurfette principle. She's the only female character in the entire station. The entire game, as a matter of fact. Also, her design. That button right here. Is it how she gets turned on? If you feel like unsubscribing after that joke, I will understand.
I guess you're eager to get your first mission.
Of course, I'm bored stiff.
Yeah, bored, stiff. The boss assigns the Tritus to picture-taking duty, so sends him and Betty to the warehouse to get a camera. Specifically, the one no one wants apparently, but he does not seem bothered by it. Turns out, the camera is another robot. This means she just insulted a living being. Rude. As a thanks for the appreciation, the camera gives the Tritus 2 programs. The ability to take pictures,
Just put your finger in here and I'll transfer my photography program to you.
and the ability to hack into the great database and impersonate any robot registered on it, so you can use their skills. The camera, and no one else apparently, just knew how to do it. And so I need to take control over Berto for testing.
Sorry, I need your body.
How funny!
Which is illegal and sparks a chase. You have to avoid the police until they decide to give up, in like 10 seconds. This is starting to feel like they're doing this whole station thing because they are bored. Here is also the tutorial on how to challenge other people to regular bets. This is the main way to make money. You challenge someone to a race or deathmatch, and if you win, you get a prize. In my experience, The death matches are better, they are faster and easier to win. The Gambler wants us to participate in a super crazy bet, while the boss wants us to go interview the Archbishop instead. Since there are no time restrictions, you can just ignore him. Out of curiosity, I wanted to see what would happen if I died without extra lives. Turns out, you go to jail, and have to escape possessing a stapler. A psychotic stapler apparently.
Where did you come from?
I'm Bart, the psychopath stapler. I've been in jail for 50 years paying for my crimes, but I like going out for a walk from time to time.
Escaping is boring. There's only one cell. I did it out of curiosity in the hope to unlock something fun, but it's better to just reload a save. The super crazy bets are a variation of a race, a deathmatch, even in squads, and a King of the Hill style match. I think these are the maps for the multiplayer mode that got repurposed for this kind of challenge. Smart way to recycle assets. But back to the main story. Detritus must... must meet the bishop and interview him. Because the Archbishop hates journalists, Detritus is immediately dismissed, making the visit fruitless. He does not want to see anyone. And then, he gets offed. This is a big deal because his matrix got stolen from the Great Database, meaning that he can get revived. Detritus is on duty, and has to take pictures of the murder scene. Since the area is off limits, he can't get in normally. He'll have to sneak in, which translates into taking the likeness of one of the police force. Let's talk about the transformation mechanic real quick. Including Detritus, there are 15 possible robots to impersonate. A third of these are used for puzzle solving during the story of Crazy Bets, another third can only attack people, another third are for nothing really, but they are there anyway. Like I said before, you can possess robots on the fly, though the cops will start a chase if you do. Another thing is that accusers will get suspicious if you are disguised as another robot, and eventually chase you if the police bar fills up. A cool detail is that if you commit a crime as a disguise, and then change into another one, the guards won't recognize you, and you will be able to sneak past. Not that it really matters since they chase you for like 10 seconds, and then give up. But hey, it's cool nonetheless. As for a personal favorite, I'll go for the accuser. The ability to fly is neat, and accusing the other robots is so much fun. It's entertaining to watch as they try to run away while being shot by the other police force. It's great if you want to replicate the Among Us experience. Is Among Us even still relevant today? Right after taking the pictures, a whistleblower, Deep Throat, wants to make contact. According to him, something fishy is happening on Chimera, and wants Detritus to investigate. Even though the main suspect seems to be a human, Deep Throat wants Detritus to take a closer look at the clues, and therefore search for a cop called Ficus, as he was the first one to get to the crime scene. But first, I need to gain Ficus' trust, which means do jobs for him. As a first, get rid of the banker Scrapus, because he left him without a cent, and get the check back. Let's try the diplomatic approach first.
Could you give me Ficus's check, please?
Hi, Detritus. You must be joking. Nothing in the universe can make a banker return anything to anybody.
Well, I tried. Second job, beat one of his bragging colleagues to a race. Once done, he contacts us for the third job, kill a functionary called Stupidus, until he runs out of lives and ends up in prison. He owns the cop a lot of money. However, complications arise, for after doing the job, Ficus is found dead into the police station. Someone is tampering with the investigation, and his matrix has been stolen. The only thing to do is take advantage of the fact no one yet knows he is dead and impersonate him. Apparently the cops don't verify who's driving. All it requires for verification is to ride a police bike, so it just works. And Detritus is dragged into a turf war against the functionaries. Turns out, the clues got taken by the chief of police, and if I want them, I'll have to give something back to the chief. Man, corruption's through the roof in this place. Or I could catch him cheating at poker and blackmail him. Is no one else bothered by the literal dead body on the other side of the room? Apparently not.
You aren't exactly honest. I've just caught you cheating.
I can't make ends meet on my salary. Get to the point. How much do you want for that picture?
I want the clues of the Archbishop's murder.
How odd. Everybody seems to be interested in those clues today. The crazy gamblers offer me a fortune for them. I'll sell them to you for...
Let me remind you that I've just taken a picture of you cheating.
Oh, that's true. What a bad memory. Let's make a deal. I smash your face, take the picture away, and pay you nothing. What do you say?
Well, I don't think I'm really interested.
Too late for that, sweetheart.
The blackmailing turns out fruitless. At the very least, now I know the crazy gambler wants them. It's time to give him a call. He's not the only one interested in them. The chief wants to action the clues, and he only trusts the mayor with safekeeping them. Ditasus thinks he can just steal them instead, so now the player can either pay 50,000 credits or steal them. I, naturally, decided to steal them because I thought it was the most interesting option. It would not have been hard to get the money, but why waste it? Of course, he had to stay in the same room with the mayor. I can't be with named characters while masquerading as them. It will trigger the cops immediately. The solution I found was transforming first into a beholder bot, accuse the mayor, then impersonate him, and finally get the clues. Finally in the figurative sense, for the chief has scattered them all over the station. The first one is located in the mosquito area. Time to go fly swatting. Might as well talk about the ship combat. There are 7 kinds of weapons. The laser is guaranteed on all ships and it does not run out, only overheats. It's balanced by the fact that the damage is utterly insignificant. The others are a minigun that shoots exploding bullets, a Gauss gun, the green laser from the Unreal Tournament games that locks on targets but it's only short range, chasing missiles, and a nuke. Do not use the nuke in close range, you're not immune to friendly fire. There are also the countermeasures that all weapons have if you press the spacebar. I do not know them because I never use them, except for the laser one, which is the most useful. It attaches a laser to either a place of the environment boosting your speed, or to another vehicle, stunning it. Not bad as combat systems go. My frame of reference are space sims that usually have the first travel experience, so I find it bluntly simple, but enjoyable nonetheless. But back to the main story. The second clue has been hidden inside the car of a Blius functionary. His vehicle must be blown up. To do that, Ditasus must challenge him to a race. I try my best to actually win and get some money in the process, but I encountered some bad luck and lost. Oh well, there is something that always lifts me up though. The third clue is somewhere.
I hid the clue so well that I don't even know how to find it. The other day, after hiding the clue, I went to a party and drank too much, so much that I can't remember where the hell I put it.
He only remembers of one messenger, Turl. Perhaps he knows something. Luckily, the dude does know, and is willing to share if he gets the mayor's new car. Time to go Grand Theft Autoing. The 3 plans needed to build it, and then if I test drive the ship itself. As it turns out, the clue is hidden inside one of the freight ships used by the police for an illegal traffic of mercury. They are indestructible, so a direct attack is out of question. Though, the mercenaries have a new weapon that can pierce through anything. I have to steal the plans from them.
And then build the weapon at Rusty's. Go to the gambling joint and get the mercenaries to tell you where they hid the plan.
Do you really think they are going to give it just like that? Here goes nothing.
Hi, I'd like to take a quick glance at the plans of your new antimatter weapon.
In your dreams. Don't bug me.
I'm a fan of yours.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
One of the mercenaries isn't very bright. He is the one who will deliver me to the weapon.
Follow me. I'll show you where the plans are.
What a nice fellow. This will be easy and fast.
I think I'm lost.
Ooh boy.
I'll soon find a way. Don't worry. I think I'm lost. I'll soon find a way. Don't worry.
Eventually the hideout is reached and the plans are recovered. And once I keep the weapon, so is the clue.
Well done. Now flee from the police and then go to the nearest communicators. I'll tell you where the 4th clue is.
Why didn't you just call them off? Time for the last one. Recover it from the Bishop Igor, a combat and destruction freak that is going to renounce the crew once defeated in a duel by a worthy opponent. The Titus must first become worthy, and there's only one that can help with that. The Crazy Gambler. Also, the Bishop wants me to get the plans for the mercenary ships before any fighting. I've lost track. Am I in like 3 chains of favors? Anyway, the strategy is the same as before. Go talk to the dumb mercenary and make him reveal the location of the plants. We did this less than 20 minutes ago in real time, by the way. At least these buddy mercenaries do notice the absurdity of the situation.
I knew it, that damn idiot. He's been fooled once again and he's giving away our secret.
Literally 20 minutes ago I was here. That was not enough though. He wants a demonstration of brutality, and I must commit a massacre in his honor in downtown. Once done, the Bishop is ready to talk. Let's get this over with. And finally, the last clue is gathered. It's like Deep Throat suspected. Something fishy is happening. The viscous being is a hoax. It's better to stay close to the chief, for he is likely involved. Which means gaining his trust, which means joining a crazy bet against the bankers. He wants the plans for their ships. Once gathered the plans, he wants to meet us. But that is not meant to be. The Titus tries to convince the others about his theory, but no one believes him, and they are suspicious about this informer, though Patty seems to be more sympathetic towards him. He is tasked with interviewing the mayor, for he was the chief's best friend. It's not going to be easy because the mayor hates the Titus for stealing the plans of his ship. I like how you can't impersonate deceased and stolen characters anymore. It adds weight to the narrative. Anyway, the mayor tries to off the Titus, but he fails. This tarnishes his reputation, so to amend, the Titus has to go to the town hall and apologize, while avoiding the mayor's execution squads. As one expects, an apology is not enough. He wants the Titus to do some jobs for him. Okay, put it on the pile. As a first task, some stablers sleep during his speeches. I left to dispose of them as a warning to the others. As a second task, the Titus has to escort an armored transport to the town hall. Mercenaries are going to assault it, believing it contains gold. In reality, it's full of pamphlets for the next election. But I fail, and die. The transport is destroyed. But the mission itself is not failed. Rather, it changes the objective to a hitman operation, and I have to get rid of the mercenaries. Now, I should go to the mayor, but a functionary named Tritorus wants to talk. He claims to have information about the murder, but it's a trap. He actually wants me to drop the investigation. While the Titus keeps his goons busy and simultaneously destroys their jamming buyos, Deep Throat is going to identify the origin of the transmission. Turns out he's a coward, and very possibly got paid to intimidate. To coerce him, the Titus must attack him but not destroy him. He can't stand fights. He does not know anything apart that they paid him to do it. Damn. Deep Throat is dubious, so the Titus proposes to impersonate a functionary to gain his trust and infiltrate the Flower Power clan. And, of course, Tritorus wants us to do some chores for him. Firstly, I need to hire some cops to beat up a rival functionary in jail, get the location of the stolen ship plants, and finally retrieve them. What's the cost for a beating? Nothing.
Okay, lead us to Pickus and we'll beat him up.
That's it. It's not gonna cost me anything.
No! Today is a free beating day and you're the lucky winner!
Okay, gang, let's go, move along.
Now you'll get the chance to see how we work. First, we surround the victim so he cannot escape. And then we beat his ass till we get tired of it. It seems easy, but you need practice.
Amazing. I'm impressed.
I would make a police brutality joke here, but I feel like it's been beaten to death. The plants are in the training area. Only someone really small can get them. Then it's time for Mikus, the treasurer of a rival gang. Find his ship and steal his cash. Okay. Once done, Tritorus moves to the Crazy Gamblers joint. Last stage, a super crazy bet against another clan, the Dividends. Now that he trusts me, he's willing to share the info about the mysterious guy. He wants to get rid of a certain Bishop Gus, but he gets blasted right outside the joint before he can reveal anything else. Chasing time. and Tritorus Matrix got stolen. At least now we know the identity of the assassin, the lone mercenary, a death fanatic. Speaking of the mercenaries, turns out they have a rocky history with the bishops.
Why don't you like the Great Database?
Us mercenaries found the Great Database inside an old Shelk stellar ship. We discovered it was able to make robots immortal, but the damned Archbishop stole it from us, and now he sells extra lives as if they were his. And what's more, he doesn't allow us to buy extra lives, so we are mortal.
Gus is an expert in viscous beings, and he seems to have an expertise in creating synthetic organic material. And they have prepared an assault, stealing his matrix before the kill. The bishop must be protected. Second objective, infiltrate the Great Database and retrieve the matrix from a traitor guardian there.
I suggest you don't attack them until you know who the traitor is.
Screw waiting.
We're under attack.
Oh, here it is. With the matrix returned, it's time to talk to Gus. The dude is so grateful that gives the bishop's plans for the ships and the motors. Turns out he gave the slime to a shady guy in a dark alley, but left the electric badge of the mayor smiling.
That's all I know.
We are trying to talk. Oh no, the Trader's matrix has been stolen by the lone merc. I need to steal his ship and locate the hideout, which leads to the gambler's joint. And done. Time to bring it back. Deep Throat is suspicious about the mayor. To find out more, he has suggested joining the mayor's electoral campaign.
Don't forget to introduce yourself as Detritus.
But he already knows who I am. Don't get distracted now. As a first task, I need to steal all the money from the functioning Corruptus. He is being financed by the mayor's rival, Porkins. Maybe he can be convinced by leaning on his good side?
Do you think accepting bribes is correct? No, but I'm loaded, and you're not.
Fair point. Just stealing is not enough. Impersonate an accuser, point at Porkins, then steal Corruptus' money does not work either because Porkins regenerates too fast. The solution is to steal just enough he does not notice, then off Porkins, then steal the rest. After that, another job. The pool says Porkins is leading. I must destroy his propaganda ships while also protecting the mayor's. At least he is generous enough to gift some cash at job finished. The mayor seems innocent-ish.
I don't think he has anything to do with the murders. He spends all his time bribing, lying, and destroying his rivals. He's a regular politician.
Deep Throat is getting preoccupied. Only two robots have the power to set this whole operation up. The chief of bankers and our newspaper boss. Though, the mayor remains the prime suspect. And then he gets removed from office.
To spare my life, I'll give you all you want. I'll turn you into the richest Viscus in Chimera. I've pulled off a real bargain we can share. No, don't do that! No!
And to make matters worse, an actual human comes to the station, and everyone assumes to be the perpetrator of the murders, even though he was not even present. The traders must interview him in prison, and of course it's impossible to access the cell without authorization. I must falsify some documents first.
Perfect. You're now authorized to enter the human cell.
He needs to be brought in a safe place to hide. Impersonating a police officer is not going to work. Oh boy.
Quick! Police! I can see him!
All units, destroy the... Time to negotiate. Here's a...
I'm lost. Come get me.
Quick, get in here!
Yeah, that's a good spot. No one will notice you there. Apart from all the people who notice you there. And the boss wants to talk.
Hi, boss. I guess you know the human got away.
Too bad that I cannot help because I did not see where he did go. No sorry. The boss wants to build a library in the West Wing and needs help. I must retrieve certain data from the functionaries. Starting from hacking the contents of certain transports. At least the police won't intervene. Once done, I must go to the bank. I need to recover more data from our old pools, the Flower Power, keeping up the upload from all 3 desks. making sure they don't shut it off. Then I need to go to the commercial district. The last piece is being held by elite functionaries with constant escort. All of them must be brought down. Once done, it gives us the rest of the day off. Deep Throat thinks the culprit is the crazy gambler, so he is the next suspect to be investigated. Checking the library is the most straightforward answer. But first, the authorization code must be retrieved from the second in command, Humphrey. And the fastest way is to insult him into a shooting competition against normal bystanders, to keep him busy while Deep Throat hacks into his ship. Once they retrieve the code, Detritus can access the library. To do that, he must impersonate a cop and activate 4 switches, and stay hidden for 30 seconds. If he gets spotted, he will have to start over. Once done, complications ensue. The desk in which the human was hiding has disappeared, like the whole thing. Humphrey may know something about it. A messenger called Trull bought it. He is obsessed with owning things. He is not willing to sell it back. And of course, I must do a favor for him. Even Detritus is getting sick of it.
I'll give it to you in return for a favor.
The same deal over and over.
He wants me to win a race against best pilots in the galaxy, to have his name engraved next to them. Detritus is going to impersonate as his son to do so. He will also give the plans for a new weapon. Before joining the proper race, I must win a qualification round. I struggled a lot in this section. Flying counterweight was not a smooth experience.
Ah, you're useless. I bribed the judges so they can give you another chance. Don't fail this time.
Once beaten that, and the actual races, Trull returns the desk to the newspaper office. It's time for some other business. The data of the gambler is somehow connected to the chief of bankers. Something does not add up, so Detritus decides to visit the chief of bankers for further investigation. You've heard nothing, alright? And the best way to get close to him is to do jobs for him, starting from destroying debtors' transports, while keeping the mercenaries away. They want a piece of the loot pie. At least he's generous to give us the plans for his ship, though Deep Throat is still suspicious, and I must go into his office for further proofs. The gambler is here, but really not. As it turns out, they are one and the same.
That's nothing more than a disguise. All my life I've been a banker. For centuries I amassed a large fortune. I'm immortal thanks to the great database, and I'm also terribly rich. What's so bad about having a little fun? That's when I made up the crazy gambler, an eccentric combat and race sponsor. He's everything I could never be. I have a great time losing millions of scraps in my crazy bets, but I'm not a murderer.
Berto suddenly wants to talk. At the ship cemetery. Turns out it's a trap. He has stolen Detritus' matrix, put a lock on the thing, and now hundreds of Bertos hunt him. The stealer must be identified and the matrix brought back. Again. Fun fact, out of bad luck I died in this section, and I witnessed what happens when you yourself die while your matrix is stolen. Here specifically I got transformed into a Berto.
Resistance is futile.
I fought off the Bertos, got the matrix and yada yada yada, you know the drill by now. Now it's time to question the original Berto in the press building. All he remembers is the crazy gambler ordering him to kill Detritus. The gambler even seems to be confessing, but he looks controlled too. The last one has the matrix of the boss. I have not mentioned it until now, but there is something funky going on with this matrix and Humphrey's.
You can't turn yourself into your boss or into Humphrey either, since for a reason I ignore, their matrices are password protected.
Now that the gambler is in jail, Deep Throat wants to meet Detritus face to face at the boss's office. Turns out, Betty was Deep Throat all along. Betty believes that the gambler is innocent, and someone else wants to frame him.
Now that the danger's over, I want you to locate the chief of bankers. I had to settle some business with him, but he has disappeared.
Of course he's disappeared. The chief of bankers and the crazy gambler are the same robot. If you want something from him, he's in jail.
Wow, this is something incredible, right, Humphrey?
Yes, it is. We'll have to pay him a visit to settle certain business.
And here is the final revelation. The boss was the one who ordered the murders, and Humphrey helped him. He must be stopped. Same tactics as before, make him run out of extra lives. As everything seemed over, The boss suddenly takes Betty hostage. He wants us to go to his office. Turns out, the boss wanted to create a replica of the Great Database, so that he could take control of the minds of all the robots in Chimera. And he has ordered everyone to silence Detritus. But the human seems to be the key. He must be escorted to the library. And he is gone again. The gamblers joined apparently. Why did you not just call immediately? He is chilling with the mercenaries. That makes sense. They are not part of the Great Database and therefore could not get replicated and corrupted. The dude got some conveniently system webbing software with him.
If my program were installed in your system, it would destroy your software.
Smart. We'd be forced to buy your programs.
Exactly. Your boss is controlling Scrapland's inhabitants with a machine. If we install my software in that machine, it'll simply stop working.
We're on an unbelievable pace of new product releases.
As a first step, the communication buoys must be destroyed to grant safe passage to the human, and stop the main control of the other robots. Next, he must be escorted throughout all the press building. Mercifully, I only need to think of my own survival. Disk inserted, database wiped clean. That of course enrages the boss. If he can't control Chimera, he'll blow it up instead. And he's bringing away Betty with him for entertainment. And as a last twist, the planet Chimera was orbiting, the one filled with trash. It was Earth all along. So it is the plot of Wall-E. The boss must be stopped. To do so, the Gambler will help Detritus by setting up the fight as a crazy bet. So Infinite responds, and gives a copy of the boss's vehicle, the strongest available in game. This final boss fight is disappointing. It's literally a 1v1 against another ship. I even ended in an embarrassing way, blowing both of us up with a nuke. Shame to end on a low note. Detritus jumps on his bike and flies off with the babe. The end. Overall, I say there is potential for renewal. Having a small light-hearted GTA clone could definitely do numbers in this day and age, especially considering the long development times. But even if it does not happen, there is enough stuff to keep you entertained, even if I did just spoil the entire game. Oops.